Lecture 6. The theme is Euphemisms. The plan of the lecture: etymology, the evolution of euphemisms. The word euphemism comes from the Greek word euphemo, and the meaning is auspicious, good, fortunate, speech, kind, which in turn is derived from the Greek root words eu, which means good, well, and the plus pheme, which means speech, speaking. The eupheme was originally a word or phrase used in place of a religious word or phrase that should not be spoken aloud. Etymologically, the eupheme is the opposite of the blaspheme, that means evil speaking. The primary example of taboo words requiring the use of a euphemism are the unspeakable names for a deity, such as Persephone, Hecate, or Nemesis, and the euphemism was itself used as a euphemism by the ancient Greeks, meaning to keep a holy silence, which means speaking well by not speaking at all. Euphemism is a substitution of an agreeable or less offensive expression in place of one that may offend or suggest something unpleasant to the listener, or in the case of doublespeak, to make it less troublesome for the speaker. It also may be a substitution of a description of something or someone rather than the name, to avoid revealing secret, holy, or sacred names to the uninitiated, or to obscure the identity of the subject of a conversation from potential eavesdroppers. Euphemisms and the process of euphemizing have the following characteristics. They are: a euphemism is an expression substituted for another expression which has acquired a negative connotation. Next is: a euphemism is an expression which is a synonym for a word or phrase of lower status. And the next is: a euphemism is an expression deliberately created to raise the status of a concept. When a phrase is used as a euphemism, it often becomes a metaphor whose literal meaning is dropped. Euphemisms may be used to hide unpleasant or disturbing ideas even when the literal term for them is not necessarily offensive. This type of euphemism is used in public relations and politics, where it is sometimes called doublespeak. Sometimes using euphemisms is equated to politeness. There are also superstitious euphemisms based consciously or subconsciously on the idea that words have the power to bring bad fortune. For example, not speaking the word cancer. Instead of this, the descriptive way is used a mortal disease. The doctors use technical terminology when discussing cancer in front of patients, for example, neopsia, neoplastic process, and so on. The evolution of euphemisms. Euphemisms may be formed in a number of ways. Periphrasis or circumlocution is one of the most common to speak around a given word, implying it without saying it. Over time, circumlocutions become recognized as established euphemisms for particular words or ideas. To alter the pronunciation or spelling of a taboo word, such as a swear word, to form a euphemism is known as taboo deformation. There are a number of taboo deformations in English, which many refer to the infamous four-letter words. In American English, words which are unacceptable on television, such as fuck, may be represented by deformations such as freak, even in children's cartoons. Some subjects are considered personal, sensitive, or taboo in English. For this reason, people avoid mentioning them by name and instead use a euphemism or humorous expression to refer to them. The word lavatory has naturally produced many euphemisms. Here are some of them: powder room, washroom, restroom, ladies' room, gentleman's room. Pregnancy is another topic for delicate using this word. There are some substitutes for the adjective pregnant: an interesting condition, in a delicate condition, in the family way, with a baby coming, with child expecting. The keys to understanding euphemisms are the concepts of avoidance and etiquette. We euphemize when we are avoiding giving offense, as it has been noticed the number of euphemisms in the sphere of alcohol are over 2,000, such as court, fab, sponge, title, fresh, and etc. Above all, euphemisms are used in polite company to avoid the typical speech of power levels of society. This term refers to the substitution of a mild expression for a harsh or unacceptable one. This includes classical euphemisms such as pass on or for die. The English language contains numerous euphemisms related to dying, death, burial, and the people and the places which deal with death. The practice of using euphemisms for death is likely to have originated with the magical belief that to speak the word death was to invite death, where to draw death's attention is the ultimate bad fortune. A common theory holds that death is a taboo subject in most English-speaking cultures for precisely this reason. It may be said that one is not dying, but fading quickly, because the end is near. People who have died are referred to as having passed away or departed. Kick the bucket seems innocuous enough until one considers that such might be fatal if such removes a commonplace stand that prevents a suicidal hanging, deceased in a euphemism for death, and sometimes the deceased is said to have gone to a better place, but this is used primarily among the religious with the concept of heaven. Numerous expressions to refer to death: meet your maker. He's gone to meet his maker, 6 feet under. I won't worry about money when I'm 6 feet under. Pushing up daisies. Last I heard about him, he's pushing up daisies. and snuffed. I've heard that poor old Ernie has snuffed it. Popped his clogs. Harold popped his clogs last year. Kicked the bucket. So Joe has finally kicked the bucket. Now here are some questions. Consider your answers to the following. The first, what is the euphemism? The second, the etymology of the word euphemism. The evolution of euphemisms. Euphemisms for death and murder.